All right, let's get back into it. Now that I'm seeing where I left off, I think I can speak to it a little better now. But we basically just investigated all of the rooms of the other occupants, or guests, I should say, in the, I keep wanting to say castle, but I think it's more like a manor. But we did talk to the main guy finally. He did grace us with his presence. And so he asked us to investigate her murder. And so I do believe that we went into as many places as possible. So with that, I think we'll go back to him and kind of go with our reporting and what we found. I think I talked more about it at the end or a little bit at the intro of the last video. But my top suspects right now, it pains me to say this, but George Washington is definitely up there. I don't know why. I think it's suspicious, especially because he made it seem like he didn't know her. And then he also is close with her father, and so I could see possibly him being involved in some sort of way. Although, if you guys remember, Peru, he was acting super suspicious, and he basically made it seem like he was the one who did it, because he was very like he wasn't giving us a lot of answers. And then every time that we did ask him questions, and he made it seem like we were going to come back and talk to him soon anyway. So those are my top two right now. Although Peru is more obvious, I don't think it's going to be that. Also, let me get that. Alright. Watch this be the end of this chapter. And I ended so quickly last time.
I've come to speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
His eyes are just so cat-like.
I'm listening, Louis.
Alright. I'm ready to say I have a culprit. That seems kind of suspicious. Let's remind me of the facts we already know.
Will you remind me of the facts we already know about?
Elizabeth Adams was
Killed last night. I was the last one to see her
Piaggi
alive.
was with Holm and I until late at night. As for Bonaparte and Washington, they left us after midnight.
Oh,
Both
that gives us
died.
our answer to that. We did. That was another suspicious part, is that originally, this man, Lord Mortimer at first did speak to the other two people being with him, but he didn't mention Washington. And so when we found out that Washington was with them, that made me a little bit more suspicious. But now that he's mentioning that on the back end, it's a little less suspicious. But Bonaparte, I don't understand how he would fit into it or what his motive would be, but I can see him as, I don't know. This is not easy. I just really don't think it's my mother.
I believe I've identified the murderer.
Really, Louis?
He's gonna say Peru.
All right then. Please think carefully before you give me your answer.
Oh no, it's gonna make me say it.
This is a very, very serious accusation.
Oh no. It's one of the female guests? It's one of the male guests? Oh my great balls of fire. All right, let's go through real quick of the, here we go. This will help. This is do or die. All right, the victim, Elizabeth Adams. So out of the female guests, we have Emily Hillsborough. The reason why I'm a little suspicious of her is because she does seem to have some mix up with my mother. And so if my mother did want Miss Adams killed for whatever reason, I could see Emily doing her dirty work. We also know that we've seen I don't know what we're really calling them, but it's when I get those nosebleeds, and I kind of take them as like premonitions or something. But we saw one where Emily was speaking intimately with my mother, and then I think my mother proceeds to kill Emily. So I don't know. I don't think that it's her though. Well, I think we only have one female guest anyway. And then it could be my mother, but I really doubt it's my mother. The feet were too big as well. So that being said, I think it's one of the male guests. Oh no. Okay, so our options are interesting. Piaggi, Volner, Peru, and Napoleon. Oh gosh. All right. Oh, we did discover that. Volner was, in an intimate relationship with her for some part. Now the lover to me seems too obvious. That's overplayed. I would be really disappointed if it ended up being him. So I'm gonna say it's not Volner. And Peru is way too obvious. Like, I feel like we're going to pick him, and then it really isn't him. Piaggi, we weren't able to go into his rooms, if you recall. We weren't able to go into his rooms, and then he left around 12. I mean, there are some intermingling between the occult and the church. So that's where I'm like, I don't think he would have killed her over her beliefs or like, I don't know, was she doing sacrifice in there? I'm not sure what she was doing in her room. But it would seem weird if that were the case. Although Piaggi could be acting on my mother's behalf too. Also, on the other side, do you really think I don't know if he would kill somebody. He's a man of the cloth. I mean, that doesn't mean he's completely innocent by any means. And then Bonaparte, well, I have no read on him. Like, I have absolutely no read on him. He was uprooted. Grudge against aristocracy. But the aristocrats, I mean, like, the clergy and the French people who failed to accept him. He joined the French army, okay. Searching back in any kind. He attracted sympathy and support of Lord Mortimer. He doesn't have enough reason to. The only people who have reason to, as of right now, would be Volney as the lover. Too obvious. Or Peru. Piaggi is very sus too. I feel like it wants us to pick Peru, and I do want to know more questioning about him, so I think through the accusation that it could be him, we would be able to find out more details on his involvement or maybe he's already being like, F it, I'm already guilty because they saw me fighting with her and hitting. I think he did strike her. So he probably is like, I'm screwed anyway. But I thought we saw blood on his coat and stuff, so I'm gonna go with Peru.
It would appear that Monsieur Peru is the culprit.
Peru.
What proof do you have against him?
If we say giant footprint, his boots though.
I found a footprint in the victim's blood.
Yeah, I like that.
Size corresponds to a very tall man.
That's certainly suspicious.
The accuser. And then he also had a fight with
He hit her before yesterday evening. His Eminence Piaggi can testify to that fact.
Ah, very interesting. Anything else?
He's not going to be happy because I only have two things.
I believe there's enough here to prove his guilt.
Very well. I'll share your conclusion with Gregory, and then I shall take care of everything from now on. Given the eminent guests and the important political issues involved, I trust you will leave me to conclude the case in my own way.
By all means.
Right. It's time we spoke about your mother, Louis.
She isn't missing. She isn't missing.
She isn't missing, you know.
What? What do you mean?
My mother has left traces in every nook and cranny of your island, my lord. She's definitely here. Now, what worries me most is why she doesn't show herself.
That doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's activities, and yours, in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the canon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
I see. So impetuous. He was supposed to let me speak to you about it first. Our friend Napoleon desperately needed financial backing to
He seems to have a
properly equip
big
his army.
interest in
I took it
Napoleon.
upon myself to back him because I have a firm conviction that he can go far.
We shall see. However, there's
He
one
invests
thing
in
that surprises me.
Ah.
Isn't Bonaparte a bit young to deserve so much attention?
Well, you come straight to the point. I like that. Indeed, if you knew just how much you remind me of him. Trust me, I'll wager that Monsieur Napoleon will soon prove himself. I'm working on it, at least. Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on the island
New
to
people?
present them with a project at the conference. It will be presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play.
Oh no, just
And
the
I
same
still
people
think
who are
so.
here.
I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
I can join in
Indeed,
her absence.
if by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you'll be able to keep your mother informed of what he said.
He really likes that painting with the.
There's something else I'd like to briefly go
Oh, that's like the famous painting when you
Earlier,
look up.
asked me the
Oh
official
my gosh.
reason for your mother's presence.
Sleep paralysis.
Is
When they say
there
it's a
an
demon sitting on your
off-the-record
chest.
reason why your mother came here?
She was looking for a buyer. I'm gonna stay vague.
Only my mother trusted me, but she remained very mysterious. I'd have been delighted to answer your question.
Is this usual for her?
As head of the Order, secrets are her bread and butter, as you can imagine. That said, it's the first time she hasn't let me in on the reason for her trip.
I don't
And
know if I
it
would want to
intrigued
say
me,
that
to
to
tell you the
him.
truth.
Well, I am sure that Sarah will explain everything once she reappears. There's something I still don't get. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
That's such a good question. I don't think I stopped to like analyze that with you guys. Why, like, what would be the reason for hiding? Unless you felt like you were in danger of something, or maybe this is all proof that I'm ready to take over the Order, because we know that that's where she ultimately wants us to get to. Maybe she's wary of something. She might have discovered something. Maybe she's lost her mind. All right, we know she hasn't lost her mind. She might have discovered something. Being wary of someone would mean that you would be afraid that they would like poison you or do something, because this place, like, well, obviously there's already been one murder, but I feel like it would be hard to commit a crime without being caught, because as you've seen, like, everybody is like of suspicion and stuck here until we find out who killed Miss Adams. I think she might have discovered something.
Maybe she found something out.
What do you mean?
My mother has a gift for investigating. If she had picked up a lead, nothing would have stopped her.
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. At the beginning
Interesting.
of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
Do you think she's suspicious of Mortimer? Enough about her. What of her disappearance? What did you speak about together?
You seem to know my mother very well, my lord. What did you talk about together?
Oh, as soon as we had a little free time, we liked to share points of view about practically any subject. We would find ourselves embarked on interminable discussions that could go from Monsieur Blanchard's flight in a hot air balloon to the Treaty of Jassy, or the adoption of the metric system in France last year, or even Mr. Eli Whitney's invention in the United States.
Oh, what was... Okay, the cotton gin. I have no erudition. I know... What? I don't have enough politics either? Baloney.
My mother must have undoubtedly taken great pleasure in these exchanges. She always was one to appreciate broadening her knowledge. I'm surprised she didn't get you started on the Crusades. It was her favorite subject.
Are you joking? Sarah and I spent entire days together reliving them. It so happens that the Crusades are also my subject of predilection, especially the third. My ancestor distinguished himself brilliantly during the siege of Saint-Jean-d'Acre.
No. Alright, it looks like we're going to be doing erudition next time, because I'm getting smacked for that one.
Unfortunately, my lord, the Crusades are not my chosen field.
Well, it doesn't matter. You have plenty of time to learn. Your mother is a very well-read woman.
Apparently,
Quite
I
lucky
need to
have
get
her as a
better.
model, Louis.
Yes, I know, but I'm still very worried.
I must admit, there are worse things to worry about now, Louis.
What do you mean?
Since she disappeared, your mother has been seen once. Her behavior
Oh,
on the
the-
evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma, Emily Hillsborough's twin sister. And she shot her
What?
with a pistol. Then, before Gregory could intervene, she ran off and disappeared again.
I beg your pardon? Hang on.
Emily
You
was a
can't
twin
drop a
sister?
bomb like
You knew
that?
my mother?
That's what we saw in the premonition. I don't think it was a premonition. I think we thought it was Emily Hillsborough, but it was her sister. And then that explains what Emily Hillsborough's accomplice is. Remember how we kept saying it was like her father or her... Oh my gosh.
Playing it, goddammit. That means my vision on the wharf.
It actually
was
happened.
actually happening
Which
inside
means
the
her
mother.
arm
Mother
was cut
shot
off too.
Emily's sister? The very person she came looking
How would
for?
her arm have
Why
been
would
cut
she
off
do
before that?
Excuse me, but between that and the childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more
Maybe
clearly.
my mother did lose
you
her
said that you
mind.
spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation, until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
She would shut herself away in a room we use as a box room upstairs.
And you haven't let me investigate that this whole
Would you
time?
allow me to go there?
Naturally, Louis, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
She probably
I shall
left a
stay
clue
on
for
our
me up
trail
there.
and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the
Ooh.
meantime, I shall get someone
We
to
do
open
have
the
another
box room
guest.
upstairs for you.
Thank you.
Also, so we're staying in the rooms that my mother used to stay in, but then she was hiding
The room is
and
just
hanging out in
opposite
a
Mortimer's study.
box room. I'm gonna throw a napkin on the floor like that. Okay, go to the tower. To the tower. It said it was just opposite of the study. Peru's room. It could be over here. These stairs over here. I think it's gonna be up higher. So interesting. Unless, I guess we'll just keep going around until we see it. You know, I'm realizing now too, we never got to go and like push the trap door. You know how we discovered that there were like markings on the floor of like clearly a secret passage. We never actually got to go into that. Alright, we're coming up on 2 stairs. But I don't think those are the stairs. So intriguing. So we're able to see things that have actually happened in a way. Because we had a second vision, didn't we? That wasn't Emily's sister one, was definitely our first, but I thought there was a second vision that we had. All right, go to the tower room. Where's the tower room? 2nd floor hallway. Right here. It was right where I came out of. This is such typical me. No? What? So weird. It doesn't make sense. It won't let us go downstairs. Go to the tower room. I guess right here? All right. It didn't say that though on the map. It just said tower room. Oh, nice. Very nice.
There are burnt papers in the chimney.
I see jelly. There's blood on that paper too.
There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is
It's onto us.
trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be?
Man with a sword. Peru?
Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Well, the man with the sword, we do have multiple military men here. Give me the loot.
Great. Honey.
Great, honey. We must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith with the man with the sword. The man with the sword. Another book.
Dante's Paradise. Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
It's a view of the courtyard. Oh,
What is this disc?
it's a CD. Science. Science. Wasn't science everything? I kept getting smacked by not having science. Science and okay, we'll take it and then we can observe it later. I know exactly what I'm picking at the start of next chapter. It's a meme at this point.
St. Paul on the Road to Damascus by Caravaggio.
I don't remember the story. Ah!
Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
It's so interesting that it's allowing us to do further examination on the painting. I think that's the first time we've been able to do that. Just making sure we grab everything. Oh! Is it a coin? Collector coin. I want to see what we're supposed to do with these collector coins. Locked.
The door appears to be locked on the other side.
Was it not an option to open it?
I think I heard something fall to the ground.
Oh, okay.
A metallic sound, like a key falling to the floor.
All right. Use the disc. What am I gonna use the disc for? Force open the door. Pick the lock. It costs. Oh, let's do this, you guys.
Open sesame.
It'll be a lot easier to pick it, I think. I forgot about that. Is that the water that negates one of your actions? Almost really creepy. I don't like
It's
that.
open.
A bedroom. What was that? Royal jelly.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust.
The man with the sword.
The painting's been cleaned recently.
The man with the sword.
There's a small inscription engraved on the frame.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. I don't know, what does that mean?
Figure 11, underlined twice. Sum up the information from the painting. Think about the secret code.
So we have the figure 11 twice underlined.
22?
And a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story
Underlined
with these
twice,
pilgrims?
though.
A connection with the figure, maybe?
All right, let's look for pilgrim, some kind of pilgrimage. Give me the loot. I'm always like, I need more Devil's Thorn. All right.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. Their fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust. Several portraits of apostles, all signed by
I didn't think it
Guido
was the same
Reni.
thing.
Looks like someone touched this commode recently. Their
Fingerprints.
fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Figure 11 pilgrimage. Oh, new item. What is it? Sophia? Oh, can you guys imagine once we're able to get more of these pamphlets? Oh, it's so juicy when you can get multiple skill points. Where is it? Where is it? We saw that one. These are the ones that we have. Here it is. Diversion. Okay.
It's St. John, painted by Guido Reni.
St. John. Oh, no, is that like a cult? Erudition. Erudition. All right, we know what we're putting into. We know what we're putting in. Erudition in science, I think, is going to be my next one. But then next chapter, I'm just going to be lacking something
The
else.
New Testament.
Hold on, hold on. The Gospels and Acts of the Apostles. Analyze the book. Something about pilgrimage. Gospel according to St. John. Go back to the beginning. Acts of Apostle. Pilgrimage, pilgrimage.
This book is incredibly precious. I believe this is the book my mother referred to when calling upon the Lord.
A volume of the Gutenberg Bible.
I think in there we'll probably find something about a pilgrimage. I'm just not that familiar. Oh. Okay, we have verses. Chapter 6, verse 11. Chapters. 522. There's another chapter 7, verse 11. Don't you think it would be 11:11? Because she underlined 11 twice. Was that... Hold on, I need to go back to the beginning. Acts of the Apostles. Okay, we looked through all of those. Let's look at these. Chapter 11, verse 11 of Corinthians 1. Oh, nope. To the Romans.
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. But wait, a note from Mother is carefully folded between the pages here. What does it say?
Let's go.
Dear E, I'm glad you found this note.
Dear
I was
E.
afraid the code of the two groups of pilgrims would mislead you. Pick up the package. You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative. Awaiting your reply, hidden behind the youngest apostle.
What? The youngest apostle?
The youngest apostle.
What does Mother mean by that?
Oh my gosh, what am I supposed to... It's got to be in here.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni.
And there's got to be
Looks
the
like
youngest one.
someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
It should allow us to look further into it. What the heck? Behind the youngest apostle. Didn't they say that this had just been moved? Or no, that had just been cleaned? Wait a minute. Hold on.
A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Oh, pick both locks? That's a high subterfuge. I don't have a key. We will come back to that at a later date. But that's going to have some goodies in it.
A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by
Who's
Guido
the
Reni.
youngest apostle?
He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel.
There's something else behind this painting.
Let's go.
It
All
says,
right.
half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean?
That's not the package, is it? Think about the erudition. Pick up the package, you know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative. Awaiting your reply, hidden behind the youngest apostle. Something about Corinth. Scrutinize the frame.
St. John is the only apostle painted in this gallery who hasn't got a beard.
Does that make him the
Wait.
youngest?
That means it's him. He's the youngest apostle. Right. This painting is therefore associated with the answer which he had
I feel like you can't always judge that because some people could be older and
Just
still not
need
have a
to know
beard.
how to recover the answer. The painting looks like it's been taken down recently.
Yeah.
What was it my mother said? That she would wait for an answer hidden behind the apostle.
How would she get back in?
Ah, of course. There's something written behind the painting. On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and three to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean?
Think about the figures.
They should add a companion to their left and three to their right to complete their ranks. I imagine it applies to their code, the one Mother set up with the pilgrims. What's this? A group of pilgrims who Paul was talking to, and now John is telling them prophecies?
And now John is telling them, what do I know about this apostle? A group of pilgrims who Paul was talking to, and now John is telling them prophecies. Is there something further in the book? I think we did everything we needed to with these,
For
right?
ye were as sheep going astray, but are now returned unto the shepherd and bishop of your souls.
I feel like we... one to their left and three to their right. Oh, Devil's Thorn. We saw this one already. But let's look at the frame.
There's nothing worth noticing here.
Okay, never mind. Scrutinize the chest of drawers, inspect the dusty piece of furniture behind the painting.
It's too cumbersome for me to unhook here, but judging by the dust, it hasn't been moved for months, if not years.
Interesting. The candlestick?
No, nothing of value here.
Why would they let you go into depth on all
There are
of these?
finger marks, deliberately drawn in the dust.
8 in all.
8 in all. Little characters are engraved on the chest of drawers under the urn. It's a sentence in Hebrew.
Oh, thank goodness. Remember I told you I had to put into linguistics? All right,
It
let's...
says, count in the dust.
8
Alright,
marks.
let's
I
do
thought
it.
we did. Thought we counted 8 marks. What? Count in the dusk?
There are finger marks, deliberately drawn in the dust. 8 in all. That's what the message in Hebrew spoke about.
Hebrew 8. Okay. Hebrew 8. To the Bible. Well, that's fitting on a Sunday. Hebrew 8, Hebrew 8. Acts of Apostle. Paul to the Hebrews. Chapter 2, verse 8, maybe? Hebrew 8. These are just going to be verses from people. I think that one is going to be the closest one. Apostle to the Hebrews. Chapter
But
6.
that which beareth thorns and briars is rejected, and is nigh unto cursing, whose end is to be burned. Here's a message.
Oh.
There are some complications. Indeed, the
Teeth.
Prussian is insistent.
Oh.
What's happening at your end? Do you need help? If tonight is not possible, let's say tomorrow evening, in the South Room, where we reviewed the situation.
The South
When
Room.
Paul understood that only the axe counted, he went back on his tracks. I await your confirmation to his left, in the company of the pilgrims that have joined him.
Yeah, this last comment is about their code. I should find new pilgrims near Paul.
Where was Paul? Should find new pilgrims near Paul. It wasn't that, right? Or was... No.
St. Paul on the road to Damascus.
Oh.
By Caravaggio.
Okay. Here we go. Two representations of the same saint.
Caravaggio attained a magnificent.
Oh, we already saw
black
this one.
and the play of
So
colors,
weird.
too. Paul facing an ordeal.
Is this such an
Curtains of his
intricate,
illusions being raised,
like well
he
thought out
receives the light
puzzle?
from his savior. Saint Paul is the only saint to be presented twice in these paintings, contrary to the other apostles. How come?
All right, examine
This
the
painting
frame.
has been hanging here for a long time. A lot of dust is built up on it. Well, a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust. I can read the number 4.
4. I wish I knew these. I can read the number 4. The number 4. There's no other paintings in here. And nobody to his left. Wait, what is that? Dante's. 3 to his right. I feel like it's like... let's go back to this one.
Saint Paul painted by Guido Reni.
Okay.
So we have the figure.
Oh, I've already
11
made this, damn it.
Twice underlined. And a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it
We
must
wait your
be
confirmation
associated with
to
the figure
his
11.
left.
But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
Let's do this one. Sum up the information. Inspect the painting.
St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently.
I've already done all of these.
There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11
Yes,
on the
yes.
painting and underlined it twice. I don't know, what does that mean?
I can still sum up that information, but I don't feel like it's absolutely necessary. Can we really not go into these 3 paintings? Or maybe we can now. He doesn't have a beard. What do we know about this? Think about the code. Observe, scrutinize the... We've already done all of those. Something new? Look at the frame. Think about the group of pilgrims. Think about the group of pilgrims. I need science!
There's something else behind this painting. It
Oh.
says half of each group
Oh, we already saw
will join
that.
the first city of Corinth.
Corinth.
What the hell does that mean?
I love how he slips it back. Alright, we need to think about this, y'all. Alright, do you need help if tonight it's not possible? Let's say tomorrow evening in the south room where we reviewed the situation. When Paul understood that only the axe counted, he went back on his tracks. I await your confirmation to his left in the company of the pilgrims that have joined him. Well, that's Paul, right? But there's 2 Pauls. There's that Paul, and then he's also in the painting over there. But that's to his left. And that's to his right. But there's only 2 paintings to his... I wait your confirmation to his left in the company of the pilgrims that have joined him. Maybe try this again?
Several portraits of apostles.
I'm gonna
all
check this
signed
so
by
many
Guido
times.
Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Why could I not, like, pull it back and look at the fingerprints? Alright, let's... Oh!
Amber.
Oh. I mean, that was pretty exciting, but still. Inspect the surroundings again, maybe? Candlestick.
Nothing of value here. It's too cumbersome for me to unhook here. But
All the
judging by
same
the dust,
things.
it hasn't been moved for months, if not years.
It doesn't make sense.
There are finger marks.
8 in
deliberately
all.
drawn in the dust.
And then we went and we found that
8
quote.
in all. That's what the message
Hebrew
in Hebrew
8.
spoke about. Hebrew 8.
There has to be something in the Bible still. Follow the clues left by your mother in the Bible. All right. Revelations of John. Gospel, St. John, Matthew, Acts of the Apostles. So just going to be your verses. Paul, Hebrews, Ephesians, Philip. I don't know. There was 11:11. Then we found Hebrew 8.
I guess I'll just come back later.
We found Hebrew 8. What am I missing? I await your confirmation to his left, in the company of the pilgrims that have joined him. So we found Paul 1:2, and then we found Paul 2:2. There are some complications. Indeed, the Prussian is insistent. What happening? There's something more with this one. There has to be. And I refuse to think that I'm actually blocked out by not
St. Paul on the road to
having
Damascus
certain
by
attributes.
Caravaggio.
St. Paul. The myth of Paul. We examined that. 2 representations. We've looked at all 3 of those. I think there is
St.
one.
Paul painted strange. St. Paul is shown twice, unlike
Yeah.
the other disciples. So we have the figure 11 twice underlined. And a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection.
That's all I got from
Text on
that.
Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure
The
11.
text on Paul.
What's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
The pilgrims. Doesn't have a beard. We already did all of those. We already did all of these. What is it? Let's check through here. Acts of the Apostles, maybe? These are all just verses, and we don't have any other numbers. There was... Oh, I'm gonna go crazy.
Thou hast put all things under his feet, for in that he put all in subjection under him. He left nothing that is not put under him.
1:8 Corinthians. Anything about pilgrims.
I guess I'll just come back later.
It won't let us leave the room if I had to guess. Yeah. It is in here. Okay, let's start from the beginning. We know she has to find a safer way. We have chapter 11, verse 11. And then that's where we found this note. I was afraid that the code of the I was afraid the code of the 2 groups of pilgrims would mislead you. Pick up the package you know where. Hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative. Awaiting your reply, hidden behind the youngest apostle. We went to the youngest apostle, and we found that... Wait, we found the youngest apostle, but I don't think we... That isn't what led us to Paul 2:2. Because that was verse 6. Wait, chapter 6, verse 8. There are some complications indeed. Do you need help? When Paul understood that only the acts counted, he went back on his tracks. Paul went back on his tracks. I await your confirmation to his left in the company of the pilgrims that have joined him. Have you guys figured it out? Am I somewhere else right now? We checked that again. Let's, I do want to...
On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add 1 companion to their left and 3 to their right to
They
complete
add one
their rank.
companion
What
to
does
their
it mean?
left. They add 1 companion to their left. Pilgrims. All right, we know we have 2 Pauls. Apostle Pauls. We have 3 other paintings in this room. And we have the youngest. We have... Who is this person?
Painting of Saint Mark.
Saint
The Collection
Mark.
of the Apostles by Guido Reni.
From the collection of the apostles. Saint Mark. So we have Saint Mark. We have the apostle Matthew.
Saint John.
John.
Painted by Guido Reni.
Saint John. And then, okay, so Saint John. And then
A drawing
we
of the
have
Apostle Matthew.
Matthew.
Painted by Guido Reni.
Matthew
He's
John.
represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel.
The company of the pilgrims that have joined him. Okay, so let's go back here. We know we have... That's the verse that we discovered. What's it called? He would go back on his tracks. Peter, James, John, Revelation 2 John, maybe? Because we did see... Wait, it was Matthew. Is that John to our right? John's to our right. I'm trying. Wait, St. Mark. The Gospel according to St. Matthew. Do we recognize any of these numbers? Wait, wasn't there a number 4 somewhere? Or was it number 8? I think it was number... Chapter 7, verse 11.
Take heed that ye practice your justice before men, to be seen differently by them.
Maybe we'll just go
Otherwise,
through all
ye
of
shall have
them.
no reward of your Father, which is in heaven.
We're going through all of them, y'all.
But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes.
It's not gonna do anything. I still, like, this is frustrating. Because there's probably other paintings beyond this. Also, to me, that would... Oh, there's more than 3. I was like, oh, that's 3 to the left. Slide to the left. That... So, yeah, I know we have this, but...
A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
We're not gonna be able to do this one. Alright, is there anything else that we're missing? Just in the room. The pilgrims. There's so many of those. The pilgrims!
Dante's Paradise.
Dante's Paradise.
Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
I am about to start banging my head against this desk.
St. Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio.
It's something in the book. It can only be something in the book. Examine the
painting has been
frame.
hanging here for a
We know
long
it's been
time.
here for a long time.
A lot of dust is built up on it. Well, a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust. I can read the number 4.
I thought I saw a 4. Oh my goodness, great balls of fire. All right, let's go over. Okay, so if we saw a 4, let's look for one of the verses or something with a 4. Oh my gosh. Do you think
Guess I'll
it...
just come back later.
Do you think it's because if you stand here, to his left would technically be that one, and to his right you have doom, boom, doom. I don't know why I decided to do it like that, but you have 3 to his left. So 4. That's so frustrating. All right, no 4s. Just look for anything with a 4. Uh, 14. Go back. Oh, we should be in a pause. We should be in 2-2 because it would be progressive. Chapter 4, verse 8, possibly. Chapter 4, verse. Oh,
In him, God has
Hold on.
chosen us before the foundation of the world, that we may be holy and blameless before him.
nope. If he were to go backwards, because that was kind of what it was speaking to, is going backwards. There's not a 4 within here. We're just gonna read every.
Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things.
Okay, was not that one. Can confirm. Chapter 1-4 is what I clicked because I was so sure of it. That's the one we just read, correct? Let's try going back to 1 out of 2. Here's verse 4 or 4:18.
Because we look not at the things that are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
Nope. Oh no. I'm gonna sneeze. Yeah. Sorry. It's all the dust in this room. We just read that one. It's not that one. It's not in here. John 4:13. No 4s. No 4s. No 4s. John had the only 4.
Hereby know
This is
that we
insane.
dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his Spirit.
Nope. My thing's like, you have read everything. Please stop. It just, none of these would make sense.
This I say therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind.
It's not one of these. But then why would there be a 4 carved into that painting? Why would there be a 4? I await your confirmation. To his left, in the company of the pilgrims that have joined him. I await your company to his left. In the other pilgrims that have joined him. These are other pilgrims. I await your company to the left. Wouldn't it be over here? Like this is the left room, I guess? But, I mean, let's look at... I await your company to his left. What am I missing here? Like, this is bad. Like, I'm used to not picking things up right away, but this is really bad. And it's not that. We can't go outside. We can't leave this room. I wait your next instructions to his left.
St. Paul on the road to Damascus, by Caravaggio.
2 representations of the same saint.
St. Paul is the only saint to be presented twice in these paintings, contrary to the other apostles.
Mm-hmm.
How come?
How come? Alright, we've looked at all of those.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni.
We already summed that up. We already did that. He is not an evangelist. We did not have this option before.
Of the 4 apostles shown in this
We didn't
piece,
have that
Paul is
option
the
before.
only one who isn't an evangelist. He is the 13th apostle.
Paul is the third. Okay. What does that mean? He's the 13th apostle. What does that mean? Observe it. Look at the... He's the 13th apostle. He doesn't have a beard. Think about the code. 13th apostle. What does that mean for us? Okay. 13th apostle. So maybe we go to the Acts of the Apostles. Maybe something with the 13.
And great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore.
No? Y'all, we're gonna have gone through every single one. That's 3. There's like no 13s. I'm thinking about this all the wrong way, you guys. Oh.
Hereby
on.
know that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his Spirit.
Follow the clues left behind by your mother in the Bible. I'm trying.
Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, and neither tempteth
That
he
was
any man.
113. That is not it. Oh my gosh. All right, against what I wanted to do, I ended up looking this clue up because I am taking far too much time on this puzzle and it is frustrating me. And this is what blows my mind. According to the answers, what they expect you to do is add and subtract. Like that's what you're supposed to do with those numbers. So you start at 11 and 11, right? So chapter 11 verse 11, and you get a hint that talks about 1s and 2s or something, so you're supposed to add to that and something dark side. Well, then apparently once you get to the chapter 6 verse 8, it says there's some complications. When Paul understood that only the acts counted, he went back on his tracks. I await your confirmation to his left in the company of the pilgrims that have joined him. So get this. They want you. So Acts of the Apostles is where you're supposed to go to, because when he went back on his acts, right? This is what blows my mind. The whole like to his left and then the people that joined him represents, we saw the number 4. So you add 4 to the 6 to get 10. So chapter 10. And then there's 3 companions that have joined the second Paul. So then you're supposed to add 3 to 8. So it's supposed to be chapter 8, verse what? 9, 10, 11? Verse 11. That's what they want you to do. That is just bananas to me. Oh, sorry. We're supposed to go down to the Acts of Apostle. Or no, maybe it stays verse 8.
And he became very hungry.
I don't know.
And would have eaten. But
There we
while
go.
they were made ready, he fell into a trance.
Let me...
Hey, there's a note here. A message
I
from
wanna
Mother
read you guys
in
that.
reply to E.
We must leave urgently, but first I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare. Watch out for
Wait.
Volner. He figured out I was avoiding him.
What?
Allay suspicion. See you tomorrow evening. Stand ready. For now, let's cease all communication until we meet. Take care of yourself.
Wait
I
a minute,
suppose
wait a
this
minute.
must be the last message. What happened afterward?
What about that about Volner?
If it's what I suspect, I fear the worst. What did Mother mean by, I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare?
Beyond the
I
nightmare.
must go beyond the nightmare. What does she mean by that?
It's probably... I must go beyond the nightmare. I doubt it's literal. I mean, what does that mean? Like, well, it's like... But isn't that crazy, you guys? I guess you don't have to add. Somebody had said online that you add the other part, but I did see the part about adding 4 to 6, which just is crazy to me.
I'm guessing it's a metaphor.
Definitely a metaphor. I must
I need to figure out
go
what this
beyond
means.
the nightmare.
Mortimer's getting his guests together. I ought to join them so I don't look suspicious.
It's fair. Ah. Item added to your inventory, Bible notes. Bible notes, baby. Where are they? I guess they're over here. We should check through. Ah, there we go. Oh. Wait, what? I failed a lot. What? Where is my mother? All right, that concludes episode 2. But what? Where is my mother? Success. I convinced Lord Mortimer of the culpability of a suspect. I discovered my mother's message, but then I failed. I did not understand my mother's message. I could have found the conversation between my mother and her partner. I thought I did find those. What? I thought I did find those. What would I have not found? I guess while... Oh, okay, so maybe while I was looking through somebody's room, I didn't find it? I got 4 points for that. That's frustrating. All right, y'all. To summarize that episode, science, erudition. Science. Science rules. All right, let's oh, I know that we can get a free point in science too, but we'll go ahead and put 1 into science, put 1 into erudition. That way we completed those 2. We still have 2 available points. We're already at level 2 with vigilance and questioning, conviction, etiquette. I almost feel like you should baseline have 1 of everything, you know? We do have a little bit in occultism. Apparently we need to know more. I think we need to know more, especially with the secret societies. But that just gives you like nothing. I still am gonna go with that. I'm gonna go forward with that. A tragic fate. No. No. All right, we get 3 manuscripts to read. I do like that they've upped the amount of manuscripts you can read. If you guys recall the first episode, we were only able to do 1, or at least the first chapter of it. Inspector's journal. Okay. I feel like we should consume. My Google just went off and it was really creepy. We could put another extra points into science and erudition. We also have psychology, not worried about that. Diversion, I think diversion we're fine. We might want to put into politics, questioning, erudition. All right, let's go ahead and put into science, and I think erudition too. Just go ahead and get 2 points to Gryffindor. 1 skill point in questioning. Should we go questioning politics? Questioning politics. Also, I think I don't feel like manipulation is going to be that imperative. Logic, politics, questioning. Do you think questioning? I'm leaning towards questioning or politics. Thing is, we're gonna have another person coming in. I think we have put a lot into questioning anyway, so I feel like we can come back to questioning later and maybe just put a little bit more into politics. I think that would probably... Oh, logic. I say we put into politics because we can get a little bit more out of conversations. Questioning, I put a lot of points into anyway, so. All right, let's get started.
It's time I went back and joined everyone in the small salon.
All right, we're gonna end it there for today's episode. Crazy stuff. That was probably one of the hardest puzzles that I've had to solve in a game to date, even over some of BioShock. Like BioShock had some complex puzzles, but this tops it. I think it was a lot to do with like having the verse and the chapter within the Bibles. That was a lot to deal with. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and thank you so much for taking time out of y'all's lives to watch it. And I hope you guys are enjoying this playthrough. I'm thoroughly loving it, except when I'm angry about not solving something. So I'm super excited to get into the next episode. So let me go back over here. Let's see where we're at in terms of like the main menu and everything. I know we're currently in episode 2. Yes. All right. So this is like a little summary of it. But it appears that we're going into the nightmare. So we just completed Where Is My Mother. We'll probably be able to complete the nightmare and the maze. I would say next video we'll try to get those 2 done and then move on to episode 3. This game is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. For being episodic, I typically see these as being a little bit shorter games, but let me know in the comments what you guys think of the playthrough and if you want to see more puzzles and games like this. But with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Bye.